Hey, warriors. So, I'm going to talk about something today. It's kind of just a reminder video. Um, but I did want to talk to you first about a comment I got the other day, and I wasn't offended by it, not in the least little bit. But I do want you guys to understand something, and number one, I'm not about explaining myself. I'm really not. But I do recognize that why would you want to listen to somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about? Okay. When I do these videos, first off, when I do these videos, yes, I record some of the things that I want to say so I can look back and remember what my mind is, because I'm not, let's just say I'm not somebody who is an outgoing talker. Okay. I never wanted to be doing these types of videos. I'm not doing them for clout. I'm not doing them for followers. um, as far as followers go and engagement, um, yeah, it's great because I can get it out to more people, and that's honestly it. Um, I'm simply doing this when because for years I was alone. I had to figure everything out on my own, completely. You know, um, here towards the end, I had a few people that kind of helped me put up some things in perspective, but for the most part, yes, completely alone. And in the beginning, alone and not know what's going on. And I don't want other people to have to go through that, you know? So, anyways, I just wanted to make that known that this is coming from a place of something that I have been through. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sitting up here um, in these videos just running my mouth about things I have no clue about. I've been through these things myself or am going through them. One of those two, right along with everyone else. Um, like I said, yes, if you see me looking off to the side, it's because number one, I look around when I talk. Number two, I can't remember everything. I'm not that kind of person. I have a scatter fucking brain. Okay, so I mean, if I didn't have something to go back and remind myself what I'm actually everything I'm wanting to say in these videos, I would never get it out. Kind of like what's happening now because this part I didn't put down. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just want everyone to know that, like I said, these videos are coming from a place of something real. So, anyways, that being said, I wanted to remind people today of our, you know, first of all, like I said, this is a reminder video. None of this is new information. But it is information, that is becoming impossible to ignore. Do you know what I mean? We've been told, and we all know this, that we're small, that we're broken, that we need saving. But a lot of us know by now that that's not true. You know, um, Even if for some of us, maybe it's deep down there. We know it's not true. We know we didn't come from nothing. We know now that we're not powerless. We know we didn't come here to stay asleep. We come from something divine, and it's time that we stop playing dumb about it. Do you know what I mean? Um, And when I say divine origin, I'm not talking about religion, guys. I'm not talking about worship, and I'm definitely not talking about putting ourselves above anybody else. Okay? Divine origin simply means that, consciousness came first. That's where I'm coming from. Okay? Before the body, before the identity, before labels, race, gender, or belief systems, that kind of thing. Life didn't just accidentally happen. Awareness didn't randomly spark. something intelligent, chose to experience itself, whatever that intelligence is for you. Okay. I'm not here to argue with anybody. you know, but anyways, you know, something intelligent, like I said, whatever that is for you, chose to experience itself through form. And, that form is pretty much us, and everything else for that matter. But, um, you know, if we're divine, why people, a lot of people ask the question, why would we choose limitation, pain, confusion, um, I don't know, you know what I mean, anything else for that matter. But, because growth doesn't happen, in perfection. Sorry, my cat's about to knock my phone over, I think. It happens in contrast. Um, human human life gives us friction, choice, intuition, emotion, you know, consequences, things like that. And, we don't need, well, let me put it to you this way. We're not going to learn anything, we're not going to learn compassion without the suffering, that kind of thing. We're not going to learn courage without knowing fear. That's what I'm talking about. Um, that's, that's the reason, that the question, going back again, I'm rambling now, I realize, but the question, why would we, if we're such, powerful beings, then why would we set such stupid limitations for ourselves? These are the reasons why. Um, you know, uh, this, and that's another thing I want to talk about too. This wasn't a fall from grace. This was a descent into experience. Okay. Um, Forgetting wasn't a mistake. It was part of the design. Okay. The lies that we were told that kept us forgetting, I don't really think that that was ever, you know, a meant thing. Um, in fact, I mean, I know that it wasn't. I don't know why I'm pretending. I know that that wasn't a meant thing. Yes, we were meant to forget for a time. This was always supposed to go back to remembering. But we all know what happened. We were lied to, and it kept us forgetting for a very, very long time. Um, but remembering everything from the start, if we remembered everything from the start, the game would be over before it even began. I guess is what I'm trying to say. You wouldn't grow, you wouldn't question, you wouldn't choose, that kind of thing. Um, but now something is shifting, obviously. People aren't remembering because someone told them. They're remembering now because, you know, I think for a lot of us, like for me, for instance, and I've heard a lot of other people talk about it, they just know there's something that they need to remember, and that's like, for the most part, that's the first step. That's where, or they start questioning things. One of those two things is really the first, you know, when we can, when we look back, we can say, yeah, that's when I knew something was going on with me, Um, but, it was because we felt it. It wasn't because someone told us. Do you know what I mean? And I wonder too, maybe for some people, now that so many people have felt like that, I wonder if it has brought that on for, hearing all of us talk about it. Is that the reason why, certain people now are on the road to remembrance? Or is that what put them on the road to remembrance? Hearing all of us talk about it. But I'm talking about, like, when it very first started in bunches. We felt it. We knew there was something that wasn't right, you know. Um but there's more to us than this role, is I guess my point. Our roles as humans, the okay, let me put it to you this way. A lot of people say they're awake, okay, but they're still waiting, you know, to be told what to do. They're still waiting for saviors. They're still waiting for, systems to collapse. They're still waiting, I guess, for permission, if you will. But divine beings, they don't wait. You know, they take responsibility, and not responsibility, like I've said before, to save the whole entire world, but responsibility for their own choices, their own energy, their own boundaries, their own integrity, you know? And I just think that living, from divine origin doesn't mean being perfect. It means that we stop lying to ourselves. We stop betraying our intuition, we stop giving access to people who drain us. We stop giving access to the people who, they don't deserve it. And it doesn't matter who they are. If they don't deserve it, they don't deserve it, and that's shit. It really is. It sucks, but it's just simply the truth. But, we have to stop pretending like we're powerless. We are, them divine beings. And, I think through all of this, that's when we become grounded and calm and regulated, and steady, we're not, it's like, humanity isn't, and I've said this a plenty of times too. Like I said, this is pretty much just a reminder video. We didn't come here to escape humanity. We came here to mature inside it, to find our way back to that divinity, and to live, as conscious human bodies, with humanity, accountability, and start living more from the heart, that kind of thing. And you know what? That's the thing too. Everybody thinks they're becoming something new. You're not becoming something new. Okay? You are just actually, now you have the space and, you have the space to be who you really were meant to be in the beginning. You stop, we have to stop denying what we already are. That's the remembering. That's the return, and I think everybody knows what I mean with the whole return. But anyways, like I said, this was just a reminder video. I didn't mean to go on so long about it. I love you guys.